What can be done to help law enforcement? Texas Comptroller Glenn Hegar hopes that money is part of the answer, specifically grant money.
That's a good question. It's what he set out to hear in Tyler earlier today on the fourth stop of his Good for Texas tour. KLTV7's Michael Richardson has more on the visit from the state's leading accountant tonight.
How can the legislature, when they come back in town next legislative session, understand how to possibly change the law, if there are any changes need to be made to make it more flexible, utilize those resources on the local level.
It's a question Texas Comptroller Glenn Hegar hopes to answer in the coming months, and one he has been crisscrossing the state to answer. In Tyler earlier today, he heard from law enforcement as to how they've used grant money, made possible through Senate Bill 22 in the last legislative session.
Those are real dollars that are put to use, back to use here in Smith County to try to make sure that our communities are doing what they need to do to keep our community safe.
Hegar's office says the entire state received over $125 million in grants. Smith County obtained $775,000 in particular. Of that, the Sheriff's Department received $500,000 and the Criminal District Attorney's Office got $275,000. Smith County Sheriff Larry Smith says the county has been able to purchase a firearm for every commissioned officer as a result of the grant. Previously, he says, some officers had to pay for guns themselves.
That's another good selling point when you hire somebody.
Let's go back to Hegar's question as to how law enforcement resources can be used at a local level. Here are his thoughts.
We need to make sure that they have the tools and the equipment, make sure that they have the salaries that they need. And what is that important for? Not just what they have to do their job, but also impacts morale.
Whether the Rural Law Enforcement Grant Program expands is something Hegar is working to figure out when the legislative session begins in January. Michael Richardson, KLTV7 News.
So Smith County was the fourth stop on Hegar's Good for Texas tour. Whether those grants will be extended depends on the lawmakers. The next legislative session, of course, starts in January.